Yo, what is going on, my YouTube people? 29 United back here with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going through football Twitter's most unpopular opinions. This is a series where you guys give me your unpopular opinions on Twitter, and I read it out and I give my own opinion, and you guys get to give your own opinions as well in the comment section down below. Now, before we start, I just want to say we're very close to 3,000 subscribers. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. All those links of my socials will be down in the description. My Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff will be in the description. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one comes from a good friend of mine at Sexy Ziyech, and he says Hakim Ziyech is better than Gnabry. I will be honest with you. I'm a Bayern fan, and we need to have a serious talk about Serge Gnabry. Serge Gnabry has been, I wouldn't say terrible, but he hasn't really been the best for Bayern Munich, unfortunately. So, I will have to agree, Hakim Ziyech, I feel like he's starting to pick up form, which is good for him and good for you too, because you're a Ziyech fan. So, that should make you very happy. And yeah, I'm happy for Hakim Ziyech. He deserves it. He's gone through a lot for the past couple of months. I mean, pretty much since he joined Chelsea, a lot of people turned on him from what I've seen. And yeah, he just needs to continue. It's all about the continuation of his form. Next one comes from at CFC Charlie 4, and he says that if Hazard played in any other era, he'd be considered top 20 of all time. That is, I should be able to agree with this one. I mean, there's certainly no doubt that if Eden Hazard played in the era of Pele and Maradona, he would have probably been considered top 20 of all time. Some people would already consider him. This is a tough one, man. I will agree with you. I wouldn't say in any other era, but in some other eras for sure, I would agree. Next one comes from at Insane Magic, and he says that Rafael Varane is better than Van Dijk. To be honest, I haven't watched too much of United and Liverpool recently, and quite honest, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this. Rafael Varane, I've seen a lot of people say he's been amazing, and I see a lot of people saying he was terrible. So, you know, as someone who doesn't really watch United, it doesn't really help me understand. But Van Dijk, I mean, he hasn't been the same since his injury. It's tough to swallow. It's tough to say, and I'm sure Liverpool fans will also agree. He hasn't been the same Van Dijk that he was before injury. It's just normal. But he hasn't been bad either. I haven't really seen anyone say anything about Van Dijk this season, but I feel like he's gone completely off the radar, Van Dijk, these days. I haven't heard many things about him. It's a hard question for me to answer. What do you guys think? Let me know in the description. The next one comes from at _ Daniel LFC, and he says Thiago Alcantara is an all-timer if he wins a trophy at Liverpool. I love Thiago, Bayern legend, and I hope Liverpool is taking care of him. So there are a couple of Liverpool games that I do watch whenever Thiago's playing. Not too much, but sometimes when he does play, I occasionally do tune in. I can agree. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people slander Thiago in the because he hasn't been the best in the Premier League. But the problem with Thiago is it's never been about goals and assists. He hasn't had that many goals and assists with Bayern either, and he's been fantastic for us. So I personally don't understand the slander. He's been great. I mean, I'm not gonna say that he's necessarily, Liverpool's best player. Of course not. But I think he's great. I think he's a good player. It was a good signing. A lot of people are slandering him for not putting up goals and assists, but it's not about that with Thiago Alcantara. As for your popular opinion, if he does win a trophy, he'll become an all-timer. It depends which trophy it is. It really does depend. If it's a Champions League or something like that, or a Prem title, probably. But if it's something like the FA Cup, I wouldn't say necessarily. The next one comes from at Topa V05, and he says Klopp isn't in the top 5 manager of the last 15 years. Do you know what? That is a great unpopular opinion. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree, and a lot of people are going to agree. Nah, you can't discredit Klopp, man. He has to be in the top 15. He has to be. He is. You know what? No, that's not even a question. Of course he is. 100% he is. No. He is. I think that's a little too far. I can see you're a United fan. Maybe that's why you don't think so. No. He's in the top 15. That's a little too disrespectful for Jurgen Klopp. Next one comes from at Conscious Flesh, and the person says that English fans are not any better or worse than most Western/Central European fans. They just get more media attention. I mean, to be honest with you, again, it's another question that is up really to you guys to tell me. From what I've seen from English fans, when it comes to, obviously we're talking about England as a national team here. I don't think he's talking about the Prem. If he is, then that's just a complete different story. But if you're talking about national team wise, English fans, from what I've seen, tend to talk a lot about things and also say a lot of bad things. If you guys remember against the Germany game where they were making fun of that little girl crying, it's something that is quite stupid. It's very childish. I mean, at the end of the day, you hear about the football game, not about some random girl crying in the stadium. It doesn't really make any sense to me. But nevertheless, there are a lot of Central or Western countries that unfortunately resort to racism when it comes to games. I'm sure you guys know. Even England has been a victim of that with a couple of players that were being racially abused by the crowd, and I think that's just not okay. But you've got to also understand, like, yeah, they get more media attention. That is true. I agree with your opinion, but in some way, you've got to understand that no matter where you come from, I'm Iranian. There's always going to be even Iranians that are going to be, bad fans. It happens with everything. Yeah. The next one comes from at Sepiak824, and he says that Araujo is the best center back in La Liga right now. I've heard a lot of great things about Araujo this year. I feel like he's been really, really good for Barcelona. But personally, I would say so. I would agree. So the next unpopular opinion comes from at Tdan Season, and he says that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a top 10 player of all time. It's a mixed opinion here. Some people are going to consider him as a top 10 player of all time, some not. I personally don't believe so, but I would see why you would put him in that category. It's really up to preference here. In my opinion, I do not think so. I love Zlatan, but I don't think he's a top 10 player of all time. I think there's a lot more players that are better than him, considering there's many positions in football. If you would have said top 10 attackers of all time, and maybe we would have a debate from that, but nah, not of all time, unfortunately. And the last unpopular opinion here comes from at _Joel CFC, and he says Kimmich is better than Kanté. That's the first Chelsea fan that I've seen say that, and I agree. Listen. I'm gonna say this. I love N'Golo Kanté. Amazing player. He's done so much, and he is such a key player for both the French national team and for Chelsea. But Joshua Kimmich is very versatile. Something Kanté isn't really. Kimmich can play as a right back, center mid, CDM. Kanté is really restricted in the middle. But I've seen a lot of people disrespect Kimmich last season and the seasons before that, saying Kanté was better. There have been obviously times where Kanté has been better, but there's been times that Kimmich has been also better. I think Kimmich is just better. It's just my opinion. Obviously, I'm a little biased because of I like Bayern, but it's tough, man. It's tough because Bayern without Kimmich it's like you lose a part of Bayern if Kimmich isn't there. Do you kind of get what I mean? So yeah. That's been the end of today's video. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please make sure to drop a subscribe if you guys are new. And yeah, all my socials will be down in the description. And until next time, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Damn, I'm on red alert. Now she went up in the dirt, man.